Dylan and Zoe were that couple, the one everyone looked at and thought, goals, they'd been together since college, a solid 5 years. Dylan was a software engineer, a bit of a nerd, but with a heart of gold.
Out.
Zoe was a vibrant, outgoing marketing manager who lit up every room she entered. To the outside world, they were perfect. Dylan trusted her completely, so much so that he recently put a down payment on a beautiful house they picked out together, planning to propose the day they got the keys. He imagined their future, kids running in the backyard, growing old on the porch swing. It was all mapped out. The first crack in their perfect facade appeared subtly. Zoe started working late more often, citing a huge new campaign at work. "It's a massive project, babe," she'd say over the phone, her voice sounding distant. "I'll make it up to you, I promise." Dylan, ever the supportive partner, would just say, "I get it. Go get him." He'd make dinner, eat alone, and save a plate for her that she rarely touched when she finally got home, exhausted. Then came the work trips, weekend conferences that Dylan wasn't invited to because they were strictly business. He felt a small, nagging doubt, but he pushed it down. This was Zoe. He trusted her. Accusing her would be betraying everything they had built. One Saturday, Dylan was doing some early spring cleaning. He was sorting through a stack of old mail on the kitchen counter when a credit card statement caught his eye. It was addressed to Zoe, one she'd opened for business expenses a few months back. Normally, he wouldn't even glance at it, but a specific charge jumped out. A high-end jewelry store, a purchase made last month for a significant amount. He frowned. His birthday had passed, and their anniversary was still months away. He hadn't received any jewelry. He tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was a gift for her mom or a client. But the unease in his gut grew into a cold, hard knot. That same afternoon, Zoe called. "Hey, babe. So sorry, but this conference is running super late. I don't think I'm going to make it back tonight." "I'll just stay at the hotel near the venue and drive back first thing in the morning." Dylan's heart sank. He could hear loud music and laughter in the background, not the quiet murmur of a professional conference. "Where are you staying?" he asked, trying to keep his voice steady. "Oh, just the Grand City Hotel downtown," she said a little too quickly. The line went quiet for a second. "Love you," she added before hanging up. Dylan felt a switch flip inside him. The trust he'd clung to for so long was shattering. He remembered seeing a charge on that same credit card statement for a boutique hotel across town. The Lakeside Inn, not the Grand City Hotel. Driven by a terrible suspicion he could no longer ignore, he got in his car. He didn't know what he was looking for, but he had to know. He drove to the Lakeside Inn, his hands gripping the steering wheel. The parking lot was full. As he slowly circled, he saw it. Zoe's car, parked in a corner spot. And in the passenger seat, she was laughing, her head tilted back as a man in the driver's seat leaned in and kissed her. It wasn't a quick peck. It was a long, passionate kiss. The man was Mark, Zoe's boss. The one who was supposedly running the huge new campaign. The one who was at all these work conferences. It all clicked into place, with sickening clarity. Dylan felt the air leave his lungs. He didn't storm over or make a scene. He just watched for a moment, the image burning into his brain. He quietly drove away, a cold, calculated calm settling over the hurricane of his emotions. The man who had left his house that afternoon was gone. In his place was someone else, someone who had been betrayed in the worst possible way. Dylan spent the night at a friend's place, his mind racing. He wasn't just heartbroken, he was furious. She hadn't just cheated, she had systematically lied, manipulated his trust, and made a fool out of him while he was planning their entire future. The house, the proposal, it all felt like a sick joke. He thought about the down payment, a huge chunk of his life savings gone into a house for a future that was now a fantasy. That's when the idea began to form. Revenge. But not the loud, screaming kind. He was a software engineer, after all. His revenge would be smart, precise, and utterly devastating. The next morning, Zoe came home, all smiles and apologies. "I'm so sorry about last night. The team just decided to celebrate after a long day. I'm exhausted." Dylan played along, giving her a tight-lipped smile. "No problem, honey. You must be tired." For the next week, Dylan was the perfect, understanding boyfriend. He helped her with chores, listened to her fake stories about work, and even brought her coffee in bed. All the while, he was putting his plan into motion. First, the the house. He called the real estate agent and the bank, explained the situation, and, after some negotiation and a small penalty, which he was more than willing to pay, he managed to withdraw his offer and get the majority of his down payment back. The house they were supposed to move into in 2 weeks was no longer theirs. Step 1 was complete. Zoe, blissfully unaware, was busy picking out paint colors online. Next, the social fallout. Dylan knew Zoe's career and social life were everything to her. He started by gathering evidence. He used his tech skills to recover deleted texts and photos from their shared cloud account, which Zoe had carelessly forgotten about. He found months of messages between her and Mark detailing their affair, mocking Dylan's trusting nature and planning their little getaways. The most damning part? They were planning to tell Dylan right after the house purchase was finalized, with Zoe planning to convince Dylan to let her stay in the house for a while to get on her feet. Essentially, she was trying to steal his home. The day before they were supposed to get the keys to the house, Zoe threw a big housewarming party. She'd invited all their friends, her family, and even some of her important work colleagues. She wanted to show off her perfect life. It was the perfect stage for Dylan's grand finale. The party was in full swing at a rented venue. Zoe was glowing, giving a speech about new beginnings and thanking everyone for their support, with a special, sickeningly sweet shout-out to the most supportive partner a girl could ask for, Dylan. As she finished her speech to a round of applause, Dylan walked up to the microphone she'd just left. "I'd like to say a few words as well," he said, his voice calm and clear. The room quieted down. "Zoe is right. This is a time for new beginnings. And speaking of new, I'd like to share a little project I've been working on." He then connected his phone to the large projector screen that Zoe had set up to show a slideshow of their happy memories, but it wasn't pictures of them that appeared on the screen. It was screenshots. Dozens of them. The texts between Zoe and Mark. The romantic dinner receipts from her work trips. A particularly clear photo he had managed to get from a distance of them kissing outside the lakeside inn. The room fell into a dead silence, broken only by a few gasps. He let the images linger for a moment before speaking again. "As you can see," Dylan said, his voice devoid of emotion, "Zoe has been working on her own huge new campaign with her boss, Mark." He looked directly at Mark, who looked like he'd seen a ghost. Then he looked at Zoe's parents, who looked horrified. Finally, he turned to a stunned Zoe. "So, about the house," he continued. "There's a slight change of plans. The sale was canceled last week. I got my down payment back. You see, I can't imagine starting a new life in a house built on a foundation of lies." He paused. "Oh, and all of this evidence, I've already sent it to your company's HR department. I believe they have a strict policy about relationships between managers and their subordinates, especially when company funds are used for romantic getaways." He put the microphone down. The silence was deafening. He didn't wait for the explosion, just turned and walked out of the room, leaving the smoldering wreckage of Zoe's life behind him. He didn't look back. As he walked into the cool night air, he didn't feel joy, but a profound sense of relief. He had lost the future he thought he wanted, but he had reclaimed his dignity and his life. The next day, he booked a one-way ticket for a solo trip he'd always wanted to take. It was his new beginning, and this time, it was real. What do you think of Dylan's revenge? Is it justified, or did he go too far? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you have a story you'd like to share, send it our way. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories.